So the president of a third world country is coming to visit us. So we need to figure out which of the students we're going to pair him up with to help tour the school. So we need to figure out what standards we're going to use to figure out the average teenager in our school. So then we can figure out which person we're going to pick. So what do you think what standards we should use for an average teenager?
Your confidence.
Okay, that's good. Because we don't want a shy person. Because the majority of our school is not shy, they're outgoing. What else? I think maybe ethnicity, right? A majority of our school is Asian, so you may want to pair them up with somebody that is a representation of our school. What else?
Leadership skills.
Yeah, leadership skills.
Knowledgeable.
Yeah, you don't want to pick somebody that's
That's
failing. Okay, so we need to analyze the problem. We have to figure out what problems could arise when an average student meets a high-ranking political figure. So I think maybe we should have him go a few minutes before the bell so he doesn't have to go in the crowded hallways.
Yeah.
What else?
And also maybe.
We should inform the student what they're going to be doing a few weeks in advance so they can plan it out, and we should tell the teachers, right?
And also maybe inform the school so they don't get too surprised.
So we need to figure out. I'll tell you the names of all the students, and we're gonna have to shortlist them to 2, and then pick the best one. So the first one is Ling Cho. She's a senior. She's an A+ student. She's in line for valedictorian. She got accepted into Harvard and Yale, but she is shy, so that may not be the best of qualities. She has a few friends, but she spends most of her time studying. Competes in science fair, tutors math students, and wants to take the leader to the Museum of Natural Science. So, do you think that the leader going to a Museum of Natural Science will be an accurate description of our school?
I mean, it depends on what the average people in our school are.
But I don't think the average person in our school isn't a valedictorian, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
There's
they're
only
not
one.
all like.
There's only one valedictorian, so we'll have to have. I don't think she's going to be considered average because she's the best of the best.
Yeah.
So
But, I think since she tutors math to students, she could be easy to talk to, and
yeah, but it says she's somewhat shy, and and she has a few friends, and she spends most of her time studying. So
So I don't think she'll really know that.
I don't think she's confident.
And
Yeah,
I don't
that
think
was one
she
of our
really
criteria.
cares that much.
Yeah, about leading a
Yeah.
school,
Okay,
leading a
but
leader.
I think everything is perfect with her to be this, but the shyness can something that can be easily worked on and get
Okay, so
get more confident
yeah.
as she goes. And
do you
learns.
think we should keep
And that's one to consider.
That's definitely one to consider.
one considered? Okay. So we'll kind of continue to shortlist it. So next person is Carmen Solis. She's a senior. She's a captain of the drill team, which means she's confident because she's the captain. But she's a C student. She's active in theater. She's well liked by everybody. She has a steady boyfriend. She's very social, but she often dominates conversations. She's going to a local college due to financial strain on her family of 8, and plans to invite the leader to a football game.
I
So
mean,
that's pretty average. I mean, the average
that's
student
pretty
goes to
average.
football games and stuff.
Yeah, plus I like that she's outgoing and does all this stuff. And I know that she's a C student, but you mentioned that she does all this stuff and that she has a family of 8, so it might be hard to
I don't think
I
that would be
don't-
very
I-
average. That's
yeah.
not very
It's
average.
not very average, but it's.
We need to figure out what's most average in our schools because it's not looking. We want to see who's an accurate representation of our school. So if she's not a very good accurate representation, then we shouldn't pick her.
I mean, she knows how to interact with others.
Okay, so she's very social. She's kind of the opposite of Ling Cho. So who votes
I think
for
I would vote for the second one more.
the second one more?
Yeah.
Okay, so is she
Second one
still in
might be
consideration?
The
Yeah.
second one might be better too.
She's more average.
So next person is Jada Williams. She's a junior. She's in AP Art. She's the president of the art club. She won several local and state awards for artwork. Sadly, she's on slow track because she has dyslexia. She's generally quiet. She's considered an overachiever and hopes to be an artist someday. And she thinks the leader might want to spend time in an art gallery. So I think it has the same problem as Ling Cho, right?
Yeah,
That she's not very.
it's
She's
too-
shy. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not accurate
she's too
representation.
shy. I think she'll only focus on a specific place, and she's not really as broad as the second one.
Yeah, I guess.
She's too focused, for example, on art, and then
Same
Ling
thing
Cho-
with Ling Cho
Yeah,
because
she's
she's.
too focused on like science and math and like those core classes.
Okay.
It's not that broad because it's school is not
So-
really just focused on
On one thing, yeah.
Well, I think it's good to have a focus on one thing.
It's good to have focus
Basically-
on one thing, but it's not really an accurate representation of our entire
And
school.
also, I think because she went past dyslexia, she overcame that difficulty. I think she might be more related.
She's a good student, but that doesn't. She's not average student.
I know. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying.
But then again, it doesn't need to be an average student because if you think about it, someone who's not average, someone who has dyslexia and is still a good student and all this, then that's actually a pretty good story. Like a leader like that who had dyslexia and had problems and stuff like that and is not average and is actually a good leader and something like that.
You can't put everybody
that
into
could be a
consideration.
good story,
It's not. We're just wanting the third world leader to come and see. Okay, what's an average in the United States? What's an average school student? So I vote nay for Jada Williams.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
I'm still going with the second one.
Second.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
go through the options. We're just trying to shortlist right now.
Okay.
So no, she's out.
Sure.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So the next person is Bahir Haddad. He's a senior. He's an AB student, which I think is pretty average. He's active in debate. He often advocates to change school policy for the better. He competes regularly in mock trials and debates on current issues. Generally well liked, but was suspended last year for a fight after an emotional outburst, likely related to a parent's divorce. Accepted into Georgetown and plans to take the leader to a debate competition. I think it's pretty average because AB
Yeah.
student.
That was probably the most average.
Yeah, because I mean
He has his goods and he has his bad.
because I think AB is pretty average. He's active in debate. He's not really. He's probably very social, and since he's advocating on like current issues, I think he'd have a good conversations with the
Yeah.
third world leader, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So
I think.
and accepting to Georgetown. Georgetown's a pretty average school, right? It's not like Harvard or Yale or a community college. So majority of people may be going to like state schools like that.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
And then last person is Jacob Jones. He's a junior. He's a C student. He drives a motorcycle. He has visible tattoos. He is self-confident. He is well liked by students and teachers. He has a good sense of humor. He started a recycling project at school that has become successful and copied by other high schools. And he plans to be the leader of a recycling center. He plans to take the leader to a recycling center. I think he's self-confident, which was one of our criteria.
That's true. That one's tough, but I think that.
I don't think that would set a good example for
Yeah, I
the
don't
third
think-
world leader, because
Well, he has started an organization, like you said, recycling. That's become successful, so I think that's.
he's a
good
C
thing.
student. That's kind of.
Well, he's kind of like the.
I think you have to look past grades. It's not just.
It's not just grades.
It's not grades at all, but like it's kind of like the fourth student.
But great.
It's
but,
it
like,
has good and bads, and an organization like that is really good, and you don't really have to look at the grades to see what kind of person he is.
Yeah, but we're trying to figure out who's average
I
first.
know average, but because the fourth one he has good and bads, just like an average student.
But
Yeah.
I think
So-
the fourth one's the most average.
So,
Fourth one too, but the first one.
we
was
need a
like-
short. We're
The
trying
first
to
one had
shortlist.
mostly goods and not that many bads. Except
And
these,
also
except
she's
these
not-
couple of ones have goods and bads.
But
like
the problem with
average
the first one is it doesn't fit our criteria of being self-confident, right, and being like outgoing. That was some of our criteria because that's majority of our kids in our school are more outgoing, right?
Did you see this last one was outgoing?
This out one,
He's
yeah,
like
it's
our
well,
teacher.
self-confident. It doesn't say outgoing, but self-confident and a sense of humor.
Yeah, I think I'll still go with the fourth.
The fourth one,
I'd go with the fourth and second one.
fourth and second. Okay, so we shortlisted it to 2. The fourth and the
Wait,
second.
what about you?
Do you agree? Okay. So we shortlisted it to 2. Carmen Solis, which is the captain of the drill team, and then Bahir Haddad, who is an AV student active in debate. Okay, so we need to evaluate each solution and select the best one. So how are we going to decide which one to pick? Name some more in-depth criteria.
I mean, grades reflect your accountability and your responsibility.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
But then again, like the second one.
Second one's more. I think
Yeah.
they're both pretty average, and they're both pretty average. Like they have friends and like they're pretty outgoing and social and
I
self-confident.
mean, yeah, they're.
well, I mean, I think the second one's more outgoing.
Yeah, but the debate student is probably more self-confident because he has won in debate and stuff, and
And he wants to discuss issues.
yeah, he can discuss
change
current
for-
issues and he wants to change the world, right, with his debate policies. But the second one, she's very social and she dominates the conversation.
So to simplify this, the second one more focuses on the social life,
Social life,
and then the fourth one focuses more on issues and
on
changing.
issues and change, and
Yeah.
he's
But
also
then they're
kind of
both
active.
they're both I think outgoing.
Yeah, they're both so outgoing, but
And confident.
yeah.
So we either choose social or change the bad
Or
issues.
yeah, changing bad issues and being academic. Let's go back to our original criteria, which was
Self-confidence,
self-confidence,
average.
how average they were, grades, and how outgoing and social they were. So I think out of those 4, they're both kind of self-confident. They have.
I think I would pick the fourth one because I think it's more relatable to the third world country.
Yeah, I think that
Third
he would
world
connect
country,
more because
yeah.
they're both discussing common issues.
Yeah, because third world countries they have more issues and stuff. They don't really have
They don't worry about football games.
they-
So,
I
let's
love
have a vote. Who votes on the second one? Carmen Solis. And who votes on Bahir Haddad? Okay.
So I think we have conclusion.
So we have to suggest ways for testing and carrying out the solution. So what instructions should we give the student about this opportunity? So I think since he is active in debate and he is a pretty smart, knowledgeable student, I think we should inform him what country this is from. This president is from, so
And
he
their
can
issues.
read up what issues. So then, while they're going through the classes, I think Bahir can help talk to the president about current issues in his country.
Yeah, and how they can change
Yeah.
and adapt.
And I think he should take the leader to a debate competition which is related to the country that he's in.
Yeah, that's true.
So do you have any suggestions for how to carry out and test and carry out the solution?
I think they should. But
They should meet
give
beforehand.
suggestions.
They should meet beforehand and have a formal introduction, so that when they meet in school, it's not the first time they're meeting.
Yeah.
They should meet beforehand and then meet at school, so then they're more comfortable together. Okay, so do you have any more ideas for carrying out the solution? Okay, so I now conclude and adjourn the session.
So, first we're going to have to meet up with the leader.
Yeah.
And then have this formal introduction, be more comfortable with each other.
Yep.
And then we're going to bring him to the school and then basically introduce
And then we're going to try to release the president a few minutes early so that he doesn't have to get clamored and he doesn't get all the students asking him questions and stuff. Okay, now I can conclude and adjourn the session. Thank you all for coming.